Hi you guys, my name is Cherita. Oh, welcome to my channel. So I came across some disturbing-ish comments on Twitter when it comes to race and racism and things that are racially insensitive and whatever. And I really just thought this would be a great conversation to have right now. And it all started because of The Bachelor. Now, I don't know anything about that show. What I do know is that Black folks ain't on that show. However, The Bachelor was like maybe the first Black Bachelor in history. I don't know. All I know is that there's been like 40 of them bachelors and like 0.1% of them have been Black. That's an issue in itself, but that's not what we're talking about. We're going to be talking about the comments that were made by the host who facilitated some interview. Again, I don't know much about the show, but I do know what I read on Twitter. So if you guys are interested in this video, go ahead and keep watching. Before I get started, make sure you click subscribe for new content whenever I post. And also do not forget to click the notification bell so that you are notified every single time that I post a video. So let's get started. As you can tell by the do-rag and the naked face, I will be putting on makeup and chit-chatting. So let's do this. All right, so this is how the conversations that I saw began. There was a person by the name of Kristen Baldwin on Twitter. I honestly don't know who she is, but she's got a check. She's verified, so maybe she's somebody. But anyways, she was tweeting all of these quotes that Emmanuel Acho, we're just going to call him Emmanuel. Some of the comments that he made while he was interviewing the Bachelor guy, and I want to say the Bachelor guy's name is Matt. And a lot of the conversation was race-based. Now, Matt is a Black man, and Emmanuel is also a Black man. This is not a gripping primer. It's fine. Okay, so Kristen Baldwin, who I'm assuming is a white woman, she was quoting or retweeting or quoting whatever this man was saying, and because I'm assuming the majority of her viewers and her followers are white, there were a lot of white women that were just like, oh my gosh, like, I have never looked at it that way. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for like bringing light to this situation. And I'm going to start with the first quote. There's a difference between being racist and racially insensitive or racially ignorant. I've been very intentional about saying what you did was racially insensitive. It was racially ignorant and it plays itself out as racism. But that doesn't necessarily classify someone as racist. You have to pull back the curtains and look at their intention. Was their intention malicious? Somebody could be as racist as they want to be. They can hold some terrible, horrible views and values. However, they might know how to act. They may not say things that are racially insensitive or racially ignorant, but that still does not mean that they themselves are not racist. Just because they're not shouting the N-word does not mean that they're not racist. And on the flip side, I do understand the first part of that statement by saying when you say something racially insensitive or racially ignorant, that doesn't necessarily mean you yourself are racist. However, you still said something racist, period. Once you start this intention bullshit, that's out of the water. We're done. Conversation is over. Because it doesn't matter what the intention was. It was still racist. Because here's the thing. There are a lot of people who are quick to deem somebody racist off of one thing that they've done. And depending on what it was, like that man at the national anthem that I talked about yesterday or the day before, that man is racist, period. He sat there and berated children, calling them the N-word multiple times, then tried to blame it on his diabetes? No. Then he tried to say, oh, well, I've finally looked into why people kneel and I understand, blah, blah. No, dude, like, you're just racist, period. But when somebody says something that's racially ignorant or racially insensitive, it still doesn't take away from the fact that it was racist. I'm finally getting to my makeup, you guys. And I'm using this new foundation, Infallible. It went viral on TikTok, so I decided to try it because I can't think for myself, apparently. So anywho, just because somebody says something racially insensitive doesn't mean that they're automatically racist. And I think that's where people are getting upset, because for some reason being called racist is like the worst thing in the world. People would rather not be called racist or whatever than for somebody to call out their racist problems. Okay, I don't like this. I think I used the wrong primer and now it's just getting oily, and we're gonna do something about that. Yeah, people are more upset at the fact that they may have done something racist and that they might be deemed racist, rather than going, okay, well, can you tell me how to not even tell me, but okay, well, that was racist. I'll do better next time. I have been told by one of my really good friends about a video that I did, and they said that my video was just full of transphobia. I literally had no idea. I had not a single clue, but that was not my intention. But whether it was my intention or not, what I said was transphobic. So now I've learned to do better. I've learned why the things that I said were not okay. That's what I've learned. But I didn't, sit there and go, well, I didn't mean to do it. That wasn't my intention. Maybe if you told me in a nicer way. No, hold yourself accountable. If somebody tells you that it was something, then it probably was. Especially if they are part of said group. And I think the issue is when somebody does say something racially insensitive, and then the first thing you say is, oh my God, you're racist. I think, and again, this is just coddling, I think that steers white people away from wanting to acknowledge their racism. The racism that has been taught. And we're gonna talk about internalized racism as well, because that is also a thing. So here we are still coddling white people because we're afraid to hurt their feelings. So we have to use words such as racially insensitive, because the minute you say that was racist, what's the first words out of their mouth? I'm not racist. I don't have a racist bone in my body. Nobody said you were racist. Your actions were racist. That's just like if I am in a car and I run a red light and I hit somebody and I unalive them. Was my intention to unalive somebody? No. But it happened, and guess what's going to happen with the justice system? The justice system is going to hold me accountable for my actions. I could sit there all day and claim, well, I didn't mean to do it. It was an accident. I'm a good person. I've never unalived somebody before. I've never ran a red light before. I've never, the excuses can be there, but it still doesn't take away from the fact that I hit somebody with my car and unalived them. It takes nothing away from that. So intention has nothing to do with deeming something racist or racially insensitive. Intent has nothing to do with it. Maliciousness has nothing to do with it. From what we know, people will try so hard to hide their racism. It's not until just recently that people have been okay with being outwardly racist. Prove me wrong. Before all of this, the microaggressions were strong. And now people are they're just being full-blown racist. But the minute, people say, hey, just to let you know, what you said was problematic or racist, just defense mode right away. And I think that's why people are leaning towards this. You have to use the words ignorant or insensitive or anti-black. Because the minute you throw that R word and people lose their minds as if they can't learn from it. And then the crazy thing is underneath this tweet and then the next one I'm about to read, I mean, it's literally filled with nothing but white women going, oh my gosh. Finally, somebody gets it. Gets what? It's just another way to coddle white people so that their feelings don't get hurt because of their racism. Because of what was taught to them. And it's like, don't get mad, don't get upset. Just get over it and do better. Work to be anti-racist. That's what you do. You don't sit around and wait for people to address your feelings in a way that makes you comfortable because, sorry to tell you, knowledge is not comfortable. Knowledge is not comfortable. Learning about the past is not comfortable. Learning about your racism is not comfortable. But imagine you not as a black person, you can't live your life the way that you want to because white people are not comfortable. Which brings me to my next tweet. I walk around realizing I might be the only black man that this person comes in contact with today. So let me do my best job to adequately represent black men across the country. And Kristen said, this hit me like a punch in the gut. Okay, so this is a problem with this statement. Black people are not a monolith. So if I am the only black person that somebody sees that day or whatever, it's not my fault if they take me and who I am as a person and they go, oh, well, that young black girl, I called myself young. That black girl acted like this today. So I'm just going to assume that all black people act like that. Black people are not a monolith. Black people, people scream and yell, like we're all the same on the inside, like we bleed the same color, blah, blah, blah. But then also people like to say things like everybody has their own personality. Right. Just like since we all bleed the same, we all have different personalities, but that doesn't mean that all black people act the same because aren't we all the same on the inside? That doesn't mean that all white people act the same because I've never heard of people talking about white people as if they're a monolith, at least in a negative way. Because there's the microaggressions that are like, oh my God, you speak just like a white girl. You sound so educated. So basically what you're saying is only white people are educated and that I just happen to be one of those Negroids that's educated. Why is it that black people have to worry about, again, making white people comfortable in public? How come black kids and black people can't just be themselves without people going, oh my gosh, look at them, they are so ghetto? As if a group of white kids couldn't be. Right? Nope. It's always black people have to coddle these white people who are uncomfortable with the fact that they may be racist, and they probably are. And also that thinking is nothing but internalized racism, because we black people were taught that. Black people were taught that growing up. Now, I definitely believe we're on the upswing of things because Black women are the most educated in the United States. So to say that you speak white or whatever, no, like, let's stop doing that. And then again, people in, like, underneath the tweet was just, oh my God, I've never looked at it that way. I've never had to watch myself, blah, blah, blah. Then let Black people just be themselves without judging them in a negative light. When you see a group of Black people being loud and having fun and laughing and not hurting anybody, barbecue Becky, let them. Why do people assume that they're doing something wrong or that they're dangerous? So underneath Kristen's tweet, there's somebody who responded and said, but this mentality is not right. It's not our job as Black people to make white people comfortable with our Blackness. We shouldn't have to be perfect and speak proper so that white people will see that we aren't scary. It's exhausting having to cater to white people and their ignorance. Then this white lady, like clockwork, comes in and says, I agree. However, it is your responsibility to educate white people and whenever possible, be kind. Are you fucking kidding me? Whose responsibility is it to educate white people on a system that was built for white people? Why do we have to educate you when Google is free? Why do we have to educate you when you could simply read a book? You could simply surround yourself around Blackness to see that we are not all the same. And different does not mean worse. So no, it's not. And then the crazy thing is so many people underneath that tweet were saying, yo, like, this isn't it. Black people are not here to educate you. She'd block them. So do you really want the education? Because it doesn't seem like you want the education. And I think that same person in the original tweet where she said Google is free and she said so is being kind. Somebody telling you Google is free is being rude? Are you? This is just like the whole Sharon Osbourne, Cheryl Underwood thing. The reason why I haven't done a video about it is because I need to pray on it because I don't really know what I want to say or how I want to go about that. But Sharon Osbourne screamed at Cheryl Underwood and was like, educate me, teach me. First of all, why are you so aggressive? Why are you yelling? Calm down. Because there are certain times where the conversation is just natural and it flows. And those conversations usually are the best. Those are the conversations that are like, all right, we're getting somewhere. And also with the whole, what's her name? Sharon Osbourne, whatever her name is, you know, her saying, you know, she told Cheryl, and don't even try to cry because I'm the one that should be crying. Why should you be crying? Because you're uncomfortable and you feel guilty? White guilt is a thing. However, that doesn't mean that you yourself are to blame unless you're not actively doing anything about it. Sitting around, like, silence, what is it? Silence is violence. When you're silent, you're complacent. And this is not the first anti-Black thing that woman has done. But we're not talking about her. What we're talking about are white women who think that they are entitled to having a Black person to teach them everything. Watch YouTube videos of Black creators. Read a book, get Black friends, follow Black people on Twitter and TikTok. And now, granted, I do understand that in the beginning, white people, for the most part, probably won't listen to Black people. And they will listen to other white people first, which, again, that's sad, but it is what it is. But stop giving these white TikTokers literally millions and millions of subscribers because they're telling you how to be anti-racist when Black people are literally right there. Like, that would be fantastic. I definitely agree that allies are necessary. And I do follow white people, white woke people on TikTok or whatever. But we need more Black people to talk about their experiences, because they're their experiences. Listen to Black stories. I don't, like, it's 2021. Why are we still having this conversation? Why are we having this conversation? Because y'all don't learn, y'all don't listen. And then that orange man that used to reside in the office set us back so many years because he allowed just blatant racism to be okay. Or should I say he allowed racially ignorance to be acceptable? Or should I say he allowed racial insensitivity to be, is that what I should say? Instead of just blatant racism? Because then people will be like, well, it's not racist. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. The Confederate flag is racist. Fight me. And that literally became a thing. Again, take your racist symbols and elsewhere. People always talk about how history is necessary. But is it when it's just being whitewashed and it's not being told correctly? Is history necessary then? Because the one thing that we have learned from history is that we haven't. What have we learned? Let's talk about it. What have we learned? We haven't learned anything, because right now we're still unlearning so many things. Christopher Columbus did not discover America. I don't know if they're still teaching that, but they tried to make it as like this fairy tale. And I'm sorry, but that's not what happened. You have to tell the whole story so then that you don't repeat yourself. That's what needs to happen. But no, people are afraid. Like, it's weird. People are afraid of the truth, but then they want you to fact check everything. I mean, please make it make sense. Because at this point, I don't get it. At this point, I do not understand. Black people shouldn't have to teach you about racism. People part of the LGBTQ community should not have to teach you about homophobia. Read a book. Do your research. Because it's getting old. It's getting mighty old. And back to the whole, I have to walk around as like, if I'm the only Black person that blah, 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 blah. Again, like I said, that's nothing but internalized racism, because now you're coddling white people. That's what you're doing. You are purposefully changing who you are to appease to white people, to make it to where white people are comfortable. But if they knew your entire family and they knew, because again, we are not a monolith. We're all different people. I bet you they'd call one of your family members a word, because they have in their mind what they think a good person is. They don't care about culture. They don't care about, those kinds of differences. They don't care about any of that. They're so close-minded. They think there's only one way to be right or wrong or good or bad. And that's why, just because they don't say the N-word, which they probably do, but because they don't say it in public, people want to be like, see, I'm not racist. I don't say the N. That's always their go-to. It's, I don't say the N-word, or I have a Black friend. That's it. And it's like, it takes more than that. As if racist people don't have whole ass Black kids. Okay, so I'm going to finish the rest of my face off camera, and then I will come back so we can wrap up this video. Okay, you guys, so this is the finished product. The eyeshadow palette that I use today is this Arabian Nights palette by Koki. I got this at Rite Aid, and the only reason why I got it is because there's an elephant. It's fine. Okay, so basically, long story short is Black people don't have to teach anybody anything. Conversations can be had, but you as a non-Black person to go educate me. And then when they do educate you and they don't do it in the right tone, then it's like, well, you don't have to get upset. Maybe if you explained it in a different way. No, because I'm pretty sure sports teams, coaches scream and yell all the time. And you get it through your heads then. So why do we, number one, have to teach? And number two, coddle your feelings? That's the one that I don't understand. I am by no means an aggressive person, but do you know how many times I've been called aggressive or angry? It's not because I'm any of those things. It's because I'm Black. So please just do your due diligence and also teach white people how to be anti-racist in a system that was meant to be racist towards Black people, because that's not our job. My ancestors' feelings were not taken into consideration when they were drug here and beaten and enslaved. They didn't coddle their feelings. Race is literally a social construct meant to keep white people on top. Because there's no difference, right? So how come in the United States, Black people were enslaved? White people enslaved Black people. But that's a different story for another day. Maybe we'll talk about it. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. That helps me out a lot. Also, do not forget to link up with me on my social media, especially Twitter. All of that information will be down below in the description box. Also, if you would like more of me, you can sign up for my Patreon, or you can sign up for my membership here on YouTube. Do not sign up for both because they both reap the same benefits. And until my next video, I'll see you guys later. Bye.
Give me up, I wanna. Gotta work, go berserk, I gotta. Know you gon' wake up. Know you gotta get your cake up. Don't matter if it's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, it's my time, I own it.